So thank you all for sitting down. So I'm really, really happy that we are all today. And I remember that Victoria sent me a message or mentioned that we should do something for as Croatian IT community for Ukrainians in Croatia and those that maybe are considering a career in IT. So I'm really glad that within a week or two we managed to really get great people on board and to start, I hope, series of events that will provide information and also knowledge on how to do IT business in Croatia. So as I said before, it's my privilege that you are today, and I hope we'll have the agenda afterwards on the screen. We'll try to maintain the time as it said on the screen. So the intention is to finish by 12, ending with Q&A session starting from 11:40. You have some coffee, water, and sweets down there in the corner of the room. For those that are online, I'm so sorry, but there are none. So I hope you have your own cup of coffee with you or tea. So it's my privilege to ask Ms. Lada Blagajic from UNHCR, and then afterwards Victoria Zinchuk from EBRD and Irina Poronenko from SVOJA to send few opening remarks. The whole conference will be in English because English is IT language, and the only part will be done in Ukrainian by Irina. So, Ms. Lada, please go ahead.
Thank you. And good morning, and I would like to welcome you all, dear participants, colleagues, and friends. I didn't expect to be the first one to open it. My name is Lada Blagajic. I'm welcoming you on behalf of UNHCR, who is supporting wholeheartedly SVOJA and what they are trying to do here in Croatia. My work, just to say a few words, is about indicators, impacts, outputs, not really interesting stuff, and the budget. So when I received the invitation from Natalia, although I don't have much experience in public speaking, I just couldn't resist. I could not say no, because I think this amazing group of women and some men that are trying to do something that ticks all the boxes for UNHCR in this actually terrible time for you. It's a group of volunteers, of women who established the NGO in a new country, who are trying to help their compatriots who, because of enormous tragedy, had to leave their homes to establish some sort of a normal life through employment and empowering them for self-employment. They are not employment agency, but they're doing everything to introduce their knowledge, their capacities to the Croatian business community, and what best way to do it but working together with the public sector, with the civil sector, and with private sector. We are supporting SVOJA from the moment that they were still trying to register themselves as the NGO. And it's been only 4 months now, 3, 4, I'm not sure, but I have a feeling it's been going on for 4 months. And we are going to continue to do that in a time to come. I hope that it will be also a guiding way for other good donors that will recognize this and this initiative by Ukrainian people, that they want to become a very productive part of the Croatian society. And I try so very hard to avoid the word refugees, which is UNHCR title, but people who were displaced and who will try to build their lives here, but for whom I hope that will also have a chance to go back to their homeland very soon. I hope this will be a productive like previous ones. What I'm following, over 100 people already found their work, find their jobs thanks to SVOJA. And I really hope that this network of the good initiatives and professionals will continue to grow. I'd like to thank SVOJA for this invitation. I'd like to thank Svoja for the excellent work that they do, and I wish you all a very successful day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lada. My name is Victoria Zinchuk. I'm director of EBRD office here in Zagreb. So 2 words about EBRD. European Bank for Reconstruction and Development is a bank. We are financing very large projects. Here in Croatia, we will be soon celebrating 30 years. And in these 30 years, we have provided now more than 4.5 billion euros of investment. This year, we will have quite a successful year with around 300 million euros invested in Croatian economy, the largest proportion in private sector. Our loans are quite large, 10 million euros up. But in addition to this lending work, we also support advisory projects with SMEs, as well as activities such as today's, whereby when we speak about reconstruction and development, whether this is in Croatia, whether this is in Ukraine, or in many other countries where we operate, unfortunately, our mission still is very relevant. We still need to continue reconstructing our societies, and we need to continue investing in the development and in the self-development as well. So the topic of tech is something that I have personally feel very passionate about, because this is definitely the industry that allows for endless opportunities. Opportunities for companies, opportunities for individuals. And those of you who are today already with us in the room or following us online, some of you are already existing IT professionals, but some of you are looking for opportunities to get training. To get training in order to have access to the jobs in this very exciting tech market. And I am on a mission to demystify IT as well, for those who are thinking that IT sector is really hard to understand, it's too challenging, because at the end of the day, if you are surrounded by the people who can help you, who can lead the way, who can explain where the training opportunities are, how to access them, this will just open the doors. And what I like to think always in my professional and in my personal life is that when one door is closing, another one is opening. So we are opening this door of opportunities in tech for you. And I'm very pleased that, as Mariana said, we have a very exciting group of people who will present today to you. This is going to be the first, but definitely not the last event of this series. So follow us online, and definitely Svoja is a great partner for us to have, because their outreach to the Ukrainian community has proven to be very effective. Enjoy the day. Thank you.
Pozdrav, dragi gosti, dragi partneri, dragi poslodavci i dragi naši sugrađani Ukrajinci. Moje ime je Irina Pronenko i ja sam HR savjetnica udruge Svoja, naravno Ukrajinka, ali danas ću pričati hrvatski i od početka želim vas upoznati s našim udrugom. Radimo smo samo nekoliko mjeseci od kraja srpnja, ali već uspjeli puno pomogti našim ukrajinskim sugrađanama, ukrajinskim izbjeglicama koji došli u Hrvatsku. Svi znamo da najučinkovitija pomoć to je pomoć u pronađenju posla. I ako ste želite pomoći Ukrajincam, to ponuditi im posao, i to je stvarno najljepše. I tako da osoba može postati samostalna i neovisna u toj zemlji u koju je došla. I stoga smo u našim aktivnostima usredotočili na 3 područja djelovanja. To je pomoć u pronalasku posla, pomoć u otvaranju biznesa, obrta, DOO, JDOO i edukacija, posebno prekvalifikacija i učenja hrvatskog jezika. I u ovih nekoliko mjeseci rada našima partnerima postali takvi poštovani organizaciji kao IBRD, Europska banka za obnovu i razvoj, Zaklada Solidarna, UNHCR, GRS, Плавий уряд, ЮНІЦЕФ і Британське велепосланство у Хорватської. За danas održali smo 4 konferencije u Zagrebu, u Gospiću, u Korenici i u Vrbovcu, u centrima za socijalni smještaj za Ukrajince. Naša Facebook stranica i Telegram kanal uskoro imat će 1000 pratitelja na svakoj stranici i to sve organskim putem, bez reklama. Pomogli smo više od 100 ljudi pronaći posao i naši partneri su takvi poslodavci kao Panpek, Mlinar, Studenac, Market, Ledo i još mala poduzeća. I do danas smo pomogli Ukrajincima da dobiju posao samo u non-IT području. Ali i za iduću godinu naš glavni fokus u našem djelovanju je pomoć visoko kvalitetnim stručnjacima pronaći posao u Hrvatskoj, a posebno u IT sektoru. I stoga zahvaljujemo vam na ovom interesu i na ovoj podršci. Sada svi rezultati koji imamo za sad, to je rezultati koji dobili zahvaljujući samo suradnji. I zahvalni našim partneram na podršci i na mentorstvu na ovoj suradnji. Drago nam je sada biti ovdje i započeti još jedan novi smjer djelovanja naše udruge. Hvala vam svim i дякую.
Thank you all for nice and kind words. I forgot to do the most important part. I forgot to greet you all that are here, to give a special thanks to everybody who, let's say, who received our invitation and accepted immediately, the companies that will be presenting today, all the associations that recognized the opportunity and also wanted to show their support, and also Algebra that gave us the premises and venue and facility infrastructure, everything that is required. So thank you all for coming, all of you participating, listening online, every single person that is here that will share their time, energy and knowledge to support the initiative of getting Ukrainian people on board in Croatian IT system. So can I have one applause? It's good for re-energizing yourself. Thank you. So I'm changing the hat now. I'm here as a vice president of CroStartup. CroStartup is an association that, like Svoja, maybe it's something to do with the spring this year. We founded in spring 2022 because we realized that the existing organizations like CISEX, that's Croatian Independent Export of Software Association that exists for more than 10 years, and associations as CroAI, our Croatian Artificial Association, Artificial Intelligence Association, are not enough. They are not basically tackling all the industries that are existing in Croatian IT system, and that we are the only country on EU level that doesn't have the mother organization representing all Croatian startups. That was the reason that we, together with CISEX, Bird Incubator, Algebra Private University, founded Croatian CroStartup Association. The idea was to, can I get the slide before, please? The one with, yeah, the first one, sorry. The idea was to have, thank you. The idea is to have 4 fields of our activities. First and the foremost important, that we are really been acting a lot, and we have our colleagues from KPMG here that we really are thankful that they are on board with us to eliminate regulatory barriers. We are a country that is renowned globally for 2 unicorns, Rimac Automobili and Infobip. And despite that, we still have issues as so let's say shareholding structures or sweat equity regulation, or things that have to do with tax reliefs when it comes to angel investment that have to be tackled and sorted out. We also know that the existing knowledge of Croatian know-how and resources that are within the community are really immense. We have many companies with a global footprint, and they are willing to share this knowledge and expertise. So we wanted also to work on getting founders together, making, let's say, less barriers to entry for the newcomers, let alone those who want to work, but also who want to initiate their own businesses, like the one that Irina mentioned. We want to strengthen startup community, meaning to get more branding within the society, to make it a career choice for newcomers, for the young people, and also to do better international positioning of Croatian startup community. We have a great football team, but we also have a great IT community. And this is something that we have been working diligently since we launched in March. And we have gladly accepted to help also to get on board IT experts from Ukrainian or those who are reconsidering to change of their career to join the IT community in Croatia. Can I have the second slide? So the problem is, you will probably see it, one of the key challenges that we are trying to tackle, and this is not problem only in Croatia, this is EU level problem, is definition of startup. So you probably heard that there is EU Commissioner, Maria Gabrielou. She has been basically working really hard since the moment of appointment to get more people on board when it comes to youth, when it comes to innovation, when it comes to opportunities that there should be for European businesses in Europe, and to support them when they want to go across either to UK or US. And this is something that we hope that together with our other organizations on EU level, we'll be able to brand and position EU as desired place of incorporating company, and also as desired place for any IT talents to have them come to us and to contribute to our global footprint. This is just, let's say, the 4 triggers that should be used when defining startups. And as I say, these are the obstacles, needs that we investigated and examined and determined, diagnosed as our starting point. So we are working hard to address them. The idea is that today we will try to open the Croatian IT system by having on board as presenters and people who really know what is there in Croatian IT. People from Algebra that will that will basically open you the box of what is there in IT for you. Reskilling opportunities. This is the great venue. It's not great just because it's brand new, it looks really impressive. It's great because it really opens the door to knowledge. And knowledge today is power. And each of us, no matter how old or young it is, can enter to IT market. IT market is not just developers. I think that all people who will be presenting today will definitely state that. You will see the great practices of similar initiatives that have been already ongoing for years. And you can see that people who basically are changing their professional careers and they are onboarding. And I think this could be a really inspiring moment for each of you to reconsider it and maybe step in the IT world, because we need all talents. So I'm glad that we can now, having said that, introduce our next speaker, Sara Ferberuš-Hlupić, who is here from Algebra, and she will do, I think, the right part, the one how to reskill yourself, how to enter to IT job market again. So Sara, please take the floor. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi everybody, and welcome here in Algebra once again. Algebra, I don't know, I'm kind of more fond with this local name Algebra. What we do here is actually education. We can move to the other side. But just shortly about us, we have 24 years of experience in guiding students through education, through their careers in IT. We have grown into a company with more than 200 employees, which also resulted in this new modern building, because the old one was too small. We have more than 300 IT and business courses, which leads to more than 15,000 students per year in different kind of education that we offer here. We can move on. We also, we are training partners for the most of the biggest IT vendors, like Microsoft, Red Hat, VMware, Cisco, and so on. The proof that we are good in what we do was the Microsoft Partner of the Year winner in 2014 for the learning part. Also, we did that again 2 years ago as a part of Leading Learning Partners Association, which Algebra is a part of and one of the founders. And kind of a crown that we are good in business was Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year in 2020. We have worked with many international and local Croatian companies, and most of them are our partners through the years and our loyal clients. Education is our core business, but also our passion. We use our experience and enthusiasm for consulting in education and to create new and update all the educational models and to share the best practices. We also use that all together, even to try to influence and to make some changes in regulatory framework for education in Croatia and beyond. Our activity areas is vocational education, specific trainings that are very practical and that train people to do new skills, to teach new skills. Adult education, education at the workplace, which is mostly upskilling or gaining some certificates in IT. Higher education with our undergraduate and graduate programs. Digital education and educational technologies. We create and support LMS for the companies, and we also support the government and other organizations in the implementations of reforms and innovations in the field of education. Today I will focus mostly on adult education because that's a formal learning program that is very structured and with official curriculum, and it ends in formal credential. Everything that we do in Algebra, we really kind of believe in lifelong learning. We really advocate lifelong learning and that you can never stop learning, basically. Okay, so here, those are kind of the three key, let's say, skills, three concepts that we need in this century. Because we need to be able to learn new skills, unlearn those skills when they become obsolete or outdated. Then we need to forget the old ways and then relearn again. Learn some new skills that will be valuable and that will be needed in the market, job market. Or be brave to suck at something new. It's not easy. It's never easy to decide to be a Python developer if you have never written a single line of code before. But sometimes you have to do that. You need to have this strength, you need to have this courage to take this step forward, and we are here to help you with that. As Victoria said, we should demystify IT. It's not something that you cannot learn, and all the other business knowledge that you have is really valuable in IT. Our trainings have some prerequisites. So you need a proof of completion, either certificate or diploma or any other official proof of high school graduation or university education that is recognized by the national agencies. You need birth certificate, ID card, and identification number, and you need to have some prior knowledge. You need to have some basis that you can work upon to train in the field that you chose. Here are our fields of education. Those are the most popular: programming and IT tech skills. We have a big variety of programming languages here in Algebra. So you can be either a mobile app developer, Python developer, back-end, front-end, full-stack developer, all of that, and it's really needed in the market, in the job market. Or if you don't want to be developers, because not everybody needs to be a developer, you can become a special in networking, in system administration, and so on. Also, if you are more creative, you can be a UX designer, you can be a photographer or a video producer. You can work in marketing. Really, with the internet and digital marketing, it's very, very important part of all the businesses, all the companies. We also offer basic IT education with European computer driving license. So you can have the license that you can cruise safely through Microsoft Office package, and that's basic knowledge that all of us should have. And there are some still administrative skills, or if you are really good in accounting or with money, then you can become an EU fund specialist. So yeah, we really believe that education is passport for the future. We are happy to welcome you all here in Croatia. We believe that your knowledge is valuable, needed, and if you upskill or reskill, sometimes we need to kind of reinvent ourselves with new knowledge, with new skills, and then you can find better job and really feel here like home. And just to end, what we say in Algebra: excel at what you love doing and light the spark.
Thank you, Sarah. So I'm really happy that Sarah opened the topic of upskilling and reskilling. And now we have Lea Tomic from Infobip, and she will share the story of how to get recruited as IT applicant. So Lea, please go ahead.
Okay, first of all, thank you for the applause. Second of all, people in the back, if you see me talking like this, please shout, because you will probably not hear me. So I had the idea today of just like explaining what Infobip is, what in the world do we do, and how our selection process looks like. So I only have few slides. I hope I will not be too boring. Okay. So, first of all, I just wanted to mention this because, as you heard before, we are one of the unicorns inside of Croatia. That means that we started here 15 years ago, and at this point have little less than 4,000 employees. You can see the locations, so basically like everywhere. Our services are available in 190 countries. Now, you can maybe move on to the next slide while I try explaining what do we do as well. As you can see, we do have an engineering department. It is quite big, so around 880 engineers in 30 different locations throughout Europe. What do they all do? They do in-house everything that we need for our products. Our product is a communication platform. So Infobip is that part that is in between like big companies. Then we have Infobip. In the end, we have end users. End users are basically you, me, everywhere. In that way, we reach around 70% of mobile devices worldwide, and we have around 1 billion interactions through our platform. Why am I mentioning this? Because if you are in IT, if you are core network administrator, if you're data engineer, if you're Java developer, you probably need to have that in mind when you're doing something, how to scale things, how to make our platform be able to support, I don't know, 2 messages daily, but even 1 billion messages daily. And now on Black Friday, we had like 2.2 billion. So it's quite interesting, I think, from my perspective. And usually when people come to work for us, it's just because of the complexity, because they think it's interesting. So now, engineering, what do we have? I have already mentioned the locations, the number of people. In Croatia specifically, it's in Zagreb, Split, Rijeka, Vodnjan, which is our HQ and the first campus we built. We also have campus in Zagreb, and now we also opened an office in Osijek. Positions, as Sara mentioned, there's not only development. So you have basically everything from development in different languages, but mostly Java. We have around 1,500 microservices in Java, so that's a lot. We also do have .NET, of course DevOps, but then again cloud DevOps. So if you do not want to keep your services, I don't know, somewhere stored like in data services, you can keep them in a cloud. That is why we have those people. Core network, system admin, data engineer. These are only the positions like inside of engineering. We do have a lot more, but we also do have those creative positions as you have already heard. So user experience, designer. We also do have different departments like marketing, I don't know, procurement, sales, I'm HR. So we do have all of those departments, but today I'm only focusing on this one. This is something that we usually like to hand out to people when they ask us like, what do you have? There you go, please take a look at this, because it's really a long sentence, maybe even an essay to explain it. So as you can see, different solutions, a lot of infrastructure, data, traffic that is quite large. Development, as I have mentioned, is in different languages, mostly focusing on Java. And then in the end, that's about it. I have basically went through everything. Maybe not just the way that we work. So we are agile. We are following LESS, which is basically like Scrum for large organizations. So you will still have daily sprints, whether you like it or not. Okay. And now, selection process. I do hope this QR works. I have created it myself, so fingers crossed. If you kind of click on it, it will probably lead you to our engineering handbook, where you can find more information. The selection process, usually it looks like this. We have 3 steps. We have the first interview, we have live coding or the tech interview, and then the final. How long does it last? Like we can be done in 1 week, it can be 2 weeks, and if people start going on vacation, it can be 3 weeks. But that's it. So now, step by step, a little bit more information. So the first interview is usually around 30 minutes. There you will have the amazing experience of mostly talking to just me or my colleagues. What we do there is just go through your CV or LinkedIn profile, it doesn't matter, and just go through the basics like why are you applying, what do you find interesting with us, some of the things you have done in the past, on what product have you worked on in the past, were you working for agency or product company as we are, what is your tech stack, if you're working in Java, what is the latest version you're working on, so everything from 8 and above is okay. So we do like kind of go through those basic tech questions that we kind of hope to understand. Why? Because if you, for example, have not worked in Java that is 8 and above, we probably will not be moving on to the next conversation because there's a lot of differences, and now we are like at 16 or something like that. Feedback. So sometimes I give a direct feedback right on the interview if I see that unfortunately we will not be moving on to the next step, and I say thank you, but at this moment will not be moving on either because of experience or like timing or whatever happens. Sometimes we give feedback in 1 or 2 days. And there are instances where like we arrange a next conversation right there on the spot. We just open our calendars and see when you're available. Now, the fun part is a technical interview, which lasts around like 90 minutes, I would say, in average. Here you will be talking mostly to our colleagues, so people from the team, usually a senior software engineer or a mid software engineer, and us as well. This talk is 80%, I would say, online and sometimes at our campus or in the office. It really depends where you are. What to do, how to prepare for this. So basically the things that we mentioned in the first interview, like in general, we are asking this for a reason, which means how do you prepare? You kind of research that part, but not just research. If you already know it, try to remember it a bit more. And there on the technical interview, like 90% of the time, you have a live coding task, which is basically simple. It's not complicated. It's used to see how you are thinking, how you are expressing yourselves, how would you propose the solution. There are different ways of how you can solve this task. Not only one way is the correct way. And feedback, we usually provide feedback like throughout the interview. When they ask you a question, you give an answer and they say, yes, that is correct, amazing for this and this reason. Or if you provide an answer that is not correct or not full, they usually explain like why have we asked you this question and why this is important to us and what will be the correct way of approaching this. That decision, like will we be moving on to the final interview or not, usually comes a bit later, so we call you throughout that day or in the next few days. Now the final step. The final step is used as sort of a retrospective on the first 2 steps, and then again for you to meet the engineering manager, which in other language is your like manager, the person who will be leading you, who will be setting your goals and taking care of your development. For this step, you honestly don't have to prepare, just come and talk. That's about it. Feedback, so this is like a yes or no situation, which means after this step we would either call you to present you with an offer or to call you and to say that unfortunately we would not be moving on to the offer and why. So that's about it when it comes to the steps. Of course, there's always the exception of maybe not having a live coding tasks. Maybe some people prefer to solve the task at home. For some positions we do have that option, but usually it looks like this. Why? Because in this way you don't have to spend like 3 weeks solving the task, but you can do it like in 90 minutes. I have added this picture. Why? Because this is campus, our campus in Zagreb, and this is from October, from internal event called Dev Days, and believe it or not, all of the people here are engineering, product development, and developer experience department. So everybody's on the tech side. Also one picture from Dev Days, and I've just wanted to add like the things that usually guide the people that are here with us in engineering. So they would like to make the product stable, secure, scalable, of course, as I mentioned, usable and efficient. And they would like to nurture people, take care of them, motivate them, of course, develop them and retain. That's about it. Thank you for your time. I don't know how many minutes I do or do not have. If you have any questions, you can ask me straight away or maybe later at the QA. I'm here either way. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. I think we'll leave the questions for the last part, if it is okay. And then if we have more of them, Irina will take care and then we will get it back to you. Thank you, Leah. We have a next creation startup star presenting, Photomath. Anna Bradvica will basically continue what Lea was talking about and give more input and information how to get employed or what to expect when you get employed in Photomath. So, Anna, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Anna, and I'm a psychologist by vocation. I started my journey in Photomath a little bit over 8 months ago as a talent acquisition specialist. Before Photomath, I collected my experience working in the recruitment agencies, talking to many different people, different roles, different personalities. Today, I will tell you a little bit more about how we hire at Photomath and how to become more visible as a candidate. Has anyone heard of Photomath before? Okay, so have you used the application? No, okay. So Photomath was created by a dad who was looking for a way to help his kids with their math homework. An engineer by background, our CEO, Damir, often found that it was challenging trying to explain math concepts in an easy, approachable way. So it was out of his personal struggles that sparked the idea for Photomath. Do you think math is hard? That's because you didn't use the right tool. Photomath is an innovative mobile app that shows users how to solve different types of problems. Sounds great? Well, it really is. So here, you can take a look for yourself. Okay, we can move to the next slide. Thank you. Well, now with over 300 million downloads, Photomath is the world's most used math app. You can, yes, thank you. Our current mission is to help people understand math one step at a time, and it's our belief that everyone can be good at math. Other than that, we are also very proud of the fact that we recently hit the #1 on Apple Store in the category of education. Okay, next slide, thank you. To resume, here are some quick facts about Photomath. So, #1 app in the world to learn math. We have our app in over 30 languages. We have 2 billion math problems solved monthly. So, that's about it. Okay, thank you. Everything we did it working together from 2 continents. The profile we employ the most are engineers and mathematicians that work together in making our product better and better every day. Of course, we employ other functions too, so it's like design, marketing, legal, people and culture, finance, and all of the other roles that actually contribute to our product. You can find all of our open roles on our careers page, and here you can see the example of how does it look like, and some of the types of roles that we usually open. If there is no role of your interest, you can always send an open application, and as soon as we have the role that matches your experience open, we will make a contact. So, how do we do it at Photomath? We like to keep it as short as possible, so we have also 3 steps as Lea at Infobip. After going through applications, first we schedule an intro call, which is usually around half an hour, and it serves mainly as a short introduction of the role, to get to know each other, and finally to align the expectations. And give information to candidates what to expect in the process. Going forward, we conduct a screening interview, which lasts for around an hour, and we go further into details. We talk about your motivation, ask more details what you previously did, and check the culture fit. In other words, we are trying to find out how would you fit in our team. We are conducting that interview together with the hiring manager, and that is usually the person who is going to be your first manager. Next in line, we have a technical interview, which usually lasts for an hour and a half. And people who are doing this interview are your potential teammates, and this interview looks more like a technical discussion. There are different types of questions asked depending on your level of seniority, and usually it starts with easier ones, and then we move forward to more complex questions as we try to push your limits and try to find out what is your train of thought and what is your approach to solving the problems. Don't be afraid. We're not expecting from you to know everything. We just want to try to find out how you look at things. So, how to become more visible to companies? First of all, write and optimize your CV together with your LinkedIn profile. So, the information we want to know before we make a contact with you, give basic details such as name and email address, indicate your working preference in terms of remote or in the office for extra points. Provide information about your academics, achievements, including the institution you've attended, courses taken, and qualifications that you have gained. List your employment history and describe your main duties and responsibilities in each role, emphasizing those most closely related to the job you're applying for. And don't exaggerate, keep it honest, because we want to know what you really did and you had your hands on. So, try to find out what are all the local Facebook or Reddit groups. You can always find useful information there and ask questions, and quite often you can check for the open roles. Don't forget to prepare for the interview. Think about what matters the most for you. What are your previous experiences and what would you like to do in the future? Think about all the answers you would like to get from us. Prepare the questions. It's also smart to check for employers' review. Keep in mind that we're not only choosing the right candidate, and you are also choosing the right company for you. It's also important to network with people who have similar interests. For example, we in Photomath are having 2 different types of meetups. We have Photomath Talks, which is quarterly webinars, aka online meetups, where our senior engineers are speakers and we're talking about different projects and technologies. And the other things we do, it's engineering management meetups, which are quarterly live events for engineering managers or those who aspire to be. And topics are different to how to manage engineers well. In general, you get free knowledge, sharing events, where you can meet our network with people with similar interests and learn more about IT companies. And lots of companies are sharing their knowledge on different blogs. We are doing it on Medium. And you can deep dive into our activities there, learn about what technologies do we use, and check with yourself if that is something that you would be interested in. It can also give you an insight if you have the skills we appreciate. So, do you have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Anna, thank you very much. I think we got really a lot of information, and you really have to dig in and see what is useful for you. So just to make your life a little bit harder, we are switching to text now. So we have Violeta Jebro from KPMG Croatia, who will tell us a little bit about taxes and how to address them. Thank you, Violeta.
Thank you. Okay, first of all, I hope I will not make your life harder, but easier with information I'm going to share with you today. As Mariana mentioned, I'm Violeta from KPMG Croatia. KPMG Croatia is one of the world's biggest audit services provider, and we also provide business, financial advisory services, and tax services. Me personally, I'm from tax services, and I will give you a high-level overview of the ways to pay taxes in Croatia. So, first of all, how to pay taxes in Croatia depends on how you are performing the activity in Croatia. If you are employed, which means having an employer in Croatia, you will pay employment income taxes and social security contributions. You can decide to register independent activity. If you do that, you can choose to pay taxes on a lump sum tax base, or you can register self-employment activity, or you can even set up a company. The last but not the least way is the way of not paying taxes in Croatia, and that is by applying for digital nomad visa. Now we can go into details for each of the options. So first of all, employment income taxes in Croatia. So if you have an employer in Croatia, you need to be aware of the fact that you will agree with your employer gross salary with the employment contract. From that gross salary, your employer needs to deduct 20% for pension insurance contributions, which is employees' costs. Once he deducts 20% of pension insurance contributions, you're entitled to one portion of non-taxable income, which amounts to around 530 euros per month, and then you reach the tax base. On that tax base, we have progressive tax rates in Croatia, which are 20% and 30%. So for the income up to euro 3,982, you'll pay 20% of taxes. Everything above that threshold is subject to 30% tax rate. You need to be aware of the fact that there is also city taxes in Croatia, which vary from 0 to 18%. City tax is assessed on top of the tax liability. Highest rate is for Zagreb, 18%. But then, for example, you have Samobor, which is very close to Zagreb, where city tax rate is 0%. Your employer, in addition, pays 16.5% for health insurance contributions on top of your salary. So you have social security contributions. Employer assesses all the duties towards the state budget, and he remits net salary to your bank account. You don't have an obligation to file the annual tax return in Croatia if you only have the employment income during the year. You can file it if you have some tax reliefs to be claimed. Croatia is very limited when it comes to tax reliefs, unfortunately. You can claim additional deductions for dependent family members or relief for donations given during the year, but that's basically it. If you decide not to be employed, but to have independent activity, you can first of all register for paying taxes on a lump sum tax base. In Croatia, we call it paušalni obrt. That's, I would say, cheapest way to pay taxes in Croatia. Tax rate for this type of registration is 10% plus city tax, which for Zagreb results in 11.8% effective tax rate for someone who resides in Zagreb. Furthermore, taxes are not levied on the revenue or income, but on a lump sum tax base. There are 5 categories of the lump sum tax base, and let's say for someone who has a revenue between euro 30,526 up to 39,816, tax base is 5,973 euros, and you pay approximately 700 euros of taxes per year. In addition, you need to pay social security contributions, which are assessed on a monthly basis by the tax authority. And you don't need to file the tax return, you just need to file certain, let's say, a record to the tax authority informing them about the revenues so that they would know in which category of taxes you fall into. What is important for this is for paušalni tax, there is a threshold in revenue that you cannot exceed. If you exceed that threshold, and it's 39,816 euros, then you can't pay paušalni tax anymore. But you can still have independent activity, and you can continue by being independent, but then you file a form to the tax authority saying, I'm still self-employed, have independent activity, but I exceeded the threshold for paying paušalni tax, and now I want to pay taxes either as individual, personal income tax, or you can choose to pay profit tax. If you choose to pay personal income tax, you'll again pay taxes at 20 and 30% rate plus city tax. Same threshold applies as for the employment income. But if you choose to pay profit tax liability, you'll pay 10% tax rate if your annual revenue is below a certain threshold. And if you pay yourself dividends, you will pay additional 10% plus city tax on dividends. You'll also need to pay social security contributions, but I haven't mentioned that because they're very tailored to individuals' personal circumstances and the type of activity individual is performing. So which option to choose? That depends on the amount of income you're expecting, expenses you're expecting, because in these scenarios, taxes are assessed on taxable income, and that's the difference between revenue and expenses. So it depends. I would recommend that you make calculations to see what fits you better and what is better for you. You can also decide to set up a company, register a company in Croatia, and in that case you'll also pay profit tax at 10% and then tax on dividends at 10% plus CISEX. Now that we've been through employment, income activity, and independent activity, we can go to the next slide. You need to be aware of the fact that there is a risk related to registering pauschally obert, first of all, and independent activity in general. Why is there a risk? As I mentioned, pauschally obert is the cheapest way to pay taxes in Croatia. And in the last couple of years, Croatian tax authority have been focused on pauschally obert because they want to see whether someone who registered to perform independent activity is really and truly independent. So if you have just one client and you register pauschally obert, that in substance for tax authority means that you are employed. They've issued questionnaire, published a questionnaire to assess substance over form risk. They are sending it to individuals who have registered pauschally obert. And one of the questions on this questionnaire is, do you have a client who generates more than 50% of your revenue? If the answer is yes, then they will question you more. And if they conclude that, in fact, you are employed with your client, let's say, for example, you have just one client, they will for sure say, oh, this is employment, this is not independent activity. They will impose taxes on employment income and social security contribution, and they will ask the client to pay those additional taxes. So that's the risk that you need to be aware of. Definitely, if you have many clients and you're really independent, then you are safe to pay taxes this way. And now the last but not the least, digital nomad. Croatia introduced digital nomad visa with Act on Foreigners. This visa is available for non-European Economic Area nationals, which includes Ukrainian citizens, who work for their foreign employer remotely and who do not provide any services to entities in Croatia. Individuals who applied and got a digital nomad visa are exempted from payment of taxes in Croatia as long as visa is valid. Visa is being issued for a period of 1 year, so it means, for example, if you are a Ukrainian citizen, IT specialist, who has employer in the US, you can apply for digital nomad visa in Croatia. You can live in Croatia for a year and not pay any taxes in Croatia. But if you have the employer in Croatia, then this does not apply. Taxes are levied on employment income in Croatia. Okay, I hope this was useful. I'll stay around for questions and answers later, so thank you.
Thank you, Violeta. Because we are a little bit ahead of time, we'll do a 15 minutes break. So please grab a coffee or water, some sweets, and we'll get back in 15 minutes for the rest of the presentations. And if those who were presenting are still here, you can ask them directly the questions, and all the others can send their questions to Svoja, and we will collect the answers and distribute them later. Thank you. So we have to continue, and then you can do the networking and chatting part afterwards. As you probably saw on the agenda, we still have 3 different sessions, and we'll also see whether it will be possible to squeeze in the Q&A session before or after. We still have Violeta that can answer from KPMG that can answer your tax-related questions, and Lea Tomic here from Infobip about recruiting and IT scene in general. So I'm really happy to invite Andrea Šeperac from Simora, PISMO Association or organization, to tell us something about their success story, because she really has something to share. So Andrea, please join us.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here today with you. Today I'm going to talk about CISEX Moslavina County, the region in the center of Croatia. CISEX is like 60 kilometers from Zagreb. And something that we did, and when we started to talk about this project and this initiative, everybody called us crazy. That's the mild word they used. But after the now 6 years, we have big results to show. So CISEX Moslavina County, the center of gaming industry, is the name of our initiative, and we started to talk about it in 2016. How did we start it? My previous boss came to me and my colleague and said, okay guys, we will apply for the European funds and we will write the project about gaming. And we were like, sorry, but I don't know anything about gaming, anything. And we had a month, so we wrote the project. We had all the permits for the construction and everything, and so we started. Okay, and who are we? We are regional development agency of CISEX Moslavina County. So Croatia has 20 regions. Every region has a regional development agency. Basically, our job is to take care of regional development in CISEX Moslavina County. And we have started with this initiative. Why? CISEX Moslavina County is a region where all the heavy industries were present. Metal processing was the #1 in our region. Oil companies, chemical, food industry, wood industry. So we were pretty big in that aspects. And when you go to CISEX Moslavina County, you see, the big chimney, industrial chimneys everywhere. And then the war came in Croatia, and the privatization, and the industry just collapsed. We have remainings of, those big companies employing maybe 10, 20, 30 people at the most. But still, the industrial tradition is very, very strong. But, people didn't have any more jobs, and they had skills. So we decided, and one big aspect at that point, we had 33% of unemployment rate, which was disaster for us. And the young people were leaving one bus per day from CISEX Moslavina County. We needed to find a way to stop that, so that's why this. Our mission was learn the game rules, and after that learn to play better than everybody else, and learn how to make video games, and then learn how to make them better than anyone else. How did we do that? So these were our steps. First of all, we went to the preschools, and we introduced English as a special application. In the children were able to use interactive application to learn English. Then we went to schools, elementary and high schools, and there we had an informal education about gaming. When I say gaming, that means programming and graphics in gaming. In the same time, when we were walking around kindergartens and schools and everybody else, we were building our space. So construction of incubator PISMO. PISMO is located in Novska. It's 80 kilometers from Zagreb. We have built 2 buildings. Those buildings were really old, and they were not for living in it. So we have renovated them, and totally, as you see, this was the first building. It's a cultural heritage, so you see, we really mind our cultural heritage. And this is the building now, and this is the other building. This was the industrial complex of one of the biggest company in Novska, and we took that building and rented it. And this building is, let's say, co-working space. Could you just go back 2 slides, please? One more. So this building is office space. We have 20 offices and little co-working space, and we are full at this moment. We have 83 or 85, it's rising every day, startups. Not everybody, of course, are there. Some of them use virtual offices. Next, please. In this space, we have music video, motion capture video studio, photogrammetric studio, VR equipment of all sorts, space for 200 people for all kinds of events, and of course some offices. This building became in the last year, let's say, tourism destination, because every school in Croatia comes here and they want to play on this equipment. We have simulators for flying, for shooting, for I don't know, everything. Of course, we don't mind for children to come to our place because they get to know us and what we are doing. Of course, one of the steps after we implemented informal educations, we worked for 1 year on formal education, and we have introduced a new curriculum in our high schools in CISEX Muslim County. So in the CISEX school and in the Novska school, we have a new curriculum. It's called Gaming Development Technician. And now in CISEX, 4th generation is 4th grade, and in Novska 3rd. And we got permission from our ministry to enroll 22 pupils in CISEX, 22 in Novska, and we have 250 interested pupils. So the criterion needs to be very, very strict. Because of that, we have, together with town of Novska, also renovated a dormitory for the students, because the people in CISEX and Novska are not from CISEX and Novska. They are from all over Croatia, and they needed a place to be when they are here in studying. Except of that, we have 6 months of educations for unemployed people in programs like Unity, Blender, Unreal. 6 months when everybody who is unemployed and they're interested in going through the education, they can get Croatian minimum salary and travel expenses. And so 6 months they're free to learn and not mind about the money. And now we have seven generations finished. It's finished these days. It's 40 people per generation, so 7 times 40, almost 300 people went through our education. 6 months, 8 hours per day, 5 days per week. So it's really active, it's really intense. Of course, not everybody make it after it, but 85 startups already exists, and some other are freelancers or doing for some other company something. Pardon. And something that we are really proud of, this year we had a gaming camp for children 2 times during the summer, and we had the first questions when we started with this idea was, you know, children are addicted to the playing video games, and and you are doing gaming camp. Those children came to Novska. We didn't have any enough place for everybody. 22 in first group and 24, I think, in second group. At 7 in the morning, they had an exercise, and then they had breakfast. Then 4 hours of learning how to make a video game, not playing video games, because they thought we will play for 12 hours of video games. No, so they were learning, and then they had a trip to some nature park or something. They had talent show in the evenings and everything else. And their job was in 6 days to make their own video game. Everybody, of course, they were simple, but they made it. I couldn't. So they made games, and on every Sunday when every group was finishing, we had a presentation. And I was surprised, not surprised, shocked by children's creativity, initiative, involvement. We had few of them, they were walking through Novska and sightseeing, and we were like looking, where's the, I think he's Bruno or something. Where's Bruno? Bruno is hanging out from the tree, because he was feeling so good that he was climbing the trees in the Novska. Luckily, we had good professors, so they managed them. But next year we will have another two 7 days camps and 1 international camps, because it was really a success. So what our startups are doing? Of course, not only video games. We are not incubator only for gaming. We have received now a big amount of money from the European Commission, because PISMO also became European Digital Innovation Hub. So we are now linking gaming to artificial intelligence and blockchain. This company is called Grow. These glasses, they produce the software for the people with hearing problems. So when you put your glasses and you're speaking to me, I read everything on the glasses on several languages. They of course protected their product, and now they are talking with several investors because of the hardware. You see the glasses are now looking like this. They're a little bit heavier, but I think they will succeed in this. These guys are making all kinds of video games. We have several of them already on Steam, and with really big success. We have a lot of them are working in different application, web pages, and all sorts of things. And what is interesting, if you came to PISMO, we are, as employees of PISMO and Simora, we are working from 7:30 until 3:30, and they are working in the evening and through the whole of night. So when you're walking by the PISMO in the night, you see guys walking around in their slippers and exchanging ideas. So every startup is not working for themselves. They are joining their forces, and that's great. And in February we have our 4th Global Game Jam contest in Novska, so it's the global world 48 hours with non-stop of making video games, and every of those startups are mentoring and helping young people to be creative. And this is our next step. So when everybody in 2016 told us that we are crazy, I don't know what they will think about this, but I have a lot of gray hairs in my hairbrows. So this is gaming campus in Novska. We have secured the land. We have done all the technical documentation. We are in next few months we will have all the permits. We will pay for those permits. We have secured the money for the documentation, and the project is 50 million euros of value. When I say that out loud, I'm scared. But you know, it's 50,000 square meters of land. We have university, 5 years of high school university in everything linked to gaming, artificial intelligence, and etc. We have a dormitory for the students because we anticipate 50 students per year. Dormitory, we have swimming pool, sports hall, and every you know, tennis court and everything that any student needs. We have another business incubator because we don't have any more room in the existing one, and this space shuttle in the it's e-sport arena for the 4,000 people where we plan to organize big e-sport events, and we already negotiated some things. We are hoping to start with the build in the late of next year or the beginning of 2024. We have secured from 50 million 39, so good luck to us with finding another 11, but okay. And that's the plan for the next 5 or 6 years, so who survives, we will see you after that. Okay. Okay, thank you.
That was definitely a great story. Thank you, Andrea. So we'll keep the fingers crossed, and of course we will have you in the process. So you will be reporting to us how it's going. I'm sure you will get your 11 and more, because this is a great story. Just think about the multiplier for the local community and just putting the spotlight on CISEX and Novska region. So congratulations, and do not worry about gray hair. So I'm not sure whether Ivan Duspara from, yeah, Ivan is here, great. So because we wanted to be sure that either if you are not, let's say, a little bit early, that we have Q&A session, but as you are here, you can tell us another inspiring story. This is about another small city, and I think it's dreaming big, definitely, to the ground. So Ivan, please join us. Ivan is from Business Incubator in Lipik, and they have AI Center. So Ivan, take a floor. Thank you.
Thank you. What do you say when I show you this? You click. Okay. Thank you, guys. Well, I'm representing AI Center Lipik, and because Novska was in front of us, it's fair to say we copied a lot from them. We learned from them. They started a couple of years before us, so there will be some similarities. So first, some trivia to get my mind going. So AI Center Lipik has basically 2 parts. I'm representing the business center, but it started as an educational center. Educational center deals with education about AI, specifically for people who want to become AI engineers or programmers. So it was open in April of 2021. It has had 3 generations of students. That means around 60 people, because 20 people per generation. It has had 10 different industry experts from the region who came to visit and give group lectures. And we've had like 50 or more, nobody counts, political visits, because when such a thing happens in such a small town, everyone wants to get involved, everyone wants to get their piece of the cake. So the business center, it was opened in 2021 and opened in 2022. So what does that mean? Well, actually they have opened the first building and then the second building. The first building was immediately entirely taken by a German company. So we had no room to provide any offices for our people who were done with the educational center. That's why they had to build another building. And now the first one has had 330 square meters, the second one 400 square meters, but the third one is currently bought and renovated another 2,000 square meters because they're planning to spread out a bit more. A fun fact is that from 1 to 20 plus means there was only one guy who was doing anything related to programming in Lipik a year and a half ago. And so now 20 plus, which is a great deal for them. They have never been, this is an opportunity for Lipik to get to get on with the times, and the 200,000 to 26,500, that is not a lowering of anything. That is just 200,000 kunas is what each company that has opened in Lipik doing AI has been given from the regional office, from the town's office, from the Croatian office for unemployment. So, and that is just translated to 26,500 euros because we will be changing to euros now. Okay. So why should you care about it? Well, I came here hoping to promote AI Center Lipik to someone, to gather people to make it a bigger thing. But why should you care about AI in the first place? Well, I don't think I'm capable of convincing anyone to do it, but just for showing, AI is currently capable of convincing you himself. So this is what AI says about why you should be interested in becoming an AI engineer. It has some pretty good points. Okay. But why should you care about Lipik? Because there are literally thousands of courses, paid and free, online by Stanford graduates, by Stanford professors, by Yale, Harvard, and NVIDIA, and also all tech giants get their own, courses. Why should you care about Lipik? Where the AI had doesn't know Lipik so well, so I will need to do this. So, okay, working space. Oh yeah, that's more familiar. So, relevant expert knowledge. We have a couple of professors. They are from the AI industry, automotive industry, so self-driving cars. One of them is doing, quantum computing for AI. They are really up to date and want to share the knowledge. We have hands-on workshops, so you don't need to do only theoretical stuff. You don't need to only watch videos of someone coding. One-on-one help we offer, of course. We are there 8 hours a day, so there's a lot of stuff for anyone who wants to learn more or needs help with anything. It's beginner-friendly, so it's open to people who do not have a background in AI. We try to learn them from the basics of programming, try to have some sort of a crash course in Python, and go on to, in 6 months we usually manage to to convince someone that he knows something about this stuff. And we have a working space, so it's not easy to have your own office and a big computer capable of doing this stuff, but we have provided more than enough for people to be able to work in peace. Well, on the other hand, the community in Lipik is kind of more motivating than working alone in your house watching videos. So you have 20 other people who are learning besides you. You have 40, 60, how many people who have learned before you and can share their knowledge. Of course, the professors. Industry networking. So we are closely related, closely connected to Croatian AI Association, Cro AI, and Bird Incubator, and a lot of different companies and organizations. So it's a great place to get involved in the tech scene and the world. If you ever wanted to get your foot in the door, this is a good thing. It's free, so you don't have to pay anything. That's a huge deal. I think it was for me. I also attended the education. It's not only free, you also get money. The same thing as in Novska, a minimal Croatian salary plus some expenses for traveling. It really makes it easier because Lipik is pretty cheap. Zagreb is 3 times as expensive. So it's possible to live there exclusively on monetary help from the state. Monetary help from the state is also why we had to have so many political visits, because we had to arrange for someone to give us the money. And the business assistance, of course, after the education is done, I'm here. I'm not much of a business expert, but I do my best. And we have a team that deals with it. So we have our centers. We want to make everyone who has a business idea, we want to skill them. We want to help them make it into reality. We will connect you to the right people. We will provide whatever we can. We have people that deal with accounting, with writing projects. So we try to make an opportunity for someone to develop their own business ideas. That is the core of what we do. I didn't want to. We also have, slides of Lipik before the war and after the war and how we started, but I think it's best to keep it at this for now. Oh. Yeah. Thank you. If you have any questions, I will be here, and these are some things you can consider to ask, where you can contact me, I think. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan. So less photos, more clicking, but still inspiring. Thank you. So I just want to check, we can move to Q&A session, or check whether Kristina Mazalin and Lana Gusic are already with us from Croatia. You are. So are you ready to take the floor, and then we will do the Q&A session? Great. So Kristina Mazalin and Lana Gusic from Hrvatski Zavod za zapošljavanje, Croatian Employment. It's basically, how do you say that? Service, sorry. I never know how to translate Zavod in English, so. Floor is yours. Do you need another mic so you don't have to share? Okay, so you go one after another. Great. Thank you.
Once again, hello everybody. My name is Lana Gusic and I work at the EURES department within the Croatian Employment Service. EURES stands for European Employment Service, and it's a wide network that brings together both job seekers and employees in order to provide a safe and secure labor mobility in the European Economic Area and in the European Union. And the Croatian Employment Service is a public institution which is open to each and every Croatian citizen in order to provide support and help to better integrate into the national labor market or to just find employment. So how does the CES work with people fleeing the war from Ukraine? Well, first of all, once the temporary protection status is regulated, then each and every person has the right to enter the Croatian unemployment register. So what does that mean? Well, the registration can be done online or on site, which means going to a regional or local office of the CES. And it is always done according to the place of temporary residence. So what does it take in order to register? First of all, you have to fill in an application form. It has been translated to Ukrainian language and is available on the official website of the CES. Then you have to have your valid identity card. It is so-called green card because we need the information about your name and surname, and OIB, that is national identification number. And of course, if a person has a certificate or a diploma of completed education, it is also good to submit. Regarding diplomas or any kind of certificate of education. Well, if a person has a valid documentation proving one of these education levels, then what our advisors do is that we direct them to one of the agencies responsible for recognizing those qualifications. So there are 3 types of agencies responsible. First one would be Education and Teacher Training Agency. They cover the, let's say, primary or elementary school education. Then there's Agency for Vocational Education and Adult Education, where they cover the, let's say, high school education. And third, there is Agency for Science and Higher Education, who covers, of course, university diplomas. One important thing to bear in mind, there is also a database of regulated professions. So what does that mean? Well, certain professions are, let's say, protected in the Republic of Croatia. For example, medical education, dentists, teachers, lawyers, architects, and so on. That means, could you please, okay. That means that if you have finished one of these colleges, then it's not enough only to get your diploma translated. You also have to contact the chamber in charge, because there's a certain difference in exams you have to pass, and of course there are certain conditions that have to be met. For example, the level of knowledge of the Croatian language, and this is something, well, let's say, a sort of a lengthy process, and it can be complicated, but it's not impossible. Either way, Agency for Science and Higher Education has all the basic information if your profession is a regulated one. So what does the CISEX do with the Ukrainian citizens who are under the temporary protection status? Well, first of all appointments for individual counseling sessions are made during the registration process. And the first thing our advisors do is that we, let's say, make a professional business plan on how to look for a job or how to find employment at the first place. So our advisors determine in what kind of works does a person want to work in, or what kind of works do they want to work in, what kind of special skills or languages they use. And given this information, well, we provide a certain matching with interested employers. We also provide information how to access the active labor policy measures. Ukrainian citizens can enter them the same way as Croatian citizens can. And there is a new set of measures to be released at the beginning of the following year. And there is also one novelty, that is the enrollment of the CISEX in the pilot project called EU Talent Pool. So what does this mean? It is a certain, let's say, job finding platform which can be reached at the EURES platform. And its purpose is to, let's say, widen the possibilities of finding employment for Ukrainian citizens in the whole European Union. So via this portal or via this tool, you can upload your CV and make it visible to all European employers. Just one thing to bear in mind, if you have regulated your status in the Republic of Croatia, and for example, you wish to work in France, Italy, or some other European country, well, it is of course possible, but first you have to deregister from the Republic of Croatia, which means your status is not transferable to another European country. But if you do find employment somewhere else in Europe, well, all you have to do is contact the authorities in Croatia to deregister and of course apply in that other European country and to set your status in that country. So here are the contacts through which we can be reached should you need further information, and of course after our session. So I will pass on the mic to my colleague, and for any questions, well, I'll be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Lana. My name is Kristina Mazalin, and I'm from the Department of Career Guidance and Education, basically the department that introduced the voucher system for digital and green skills. that is implemented through our employment service in Croatia. So my colleague told you about some maybe prerequisites that are necessary in order for you to in the end get to use actually acquire these vouchers for further education, and that would be that you have to register within us, and you have to have your qualifications recognized in order to, of course, enroll the certain program. So I would like you just to get you acquainted with this system, why it was introduced in Croatia in the first place, and then later on guide you through maybe some steps in order if you would like to apply for the voucher itself. So the system is quite new in Croatia. It started from April this year. Previously we had collaborationships with Facebook, with Google for some courses that were also related to acquiring digital skills. But from this year, it is recognized on the EU level, and of course our ministry wanted to implement this voucher system in Croatia, especially having in mind that rate of participation in adult learning in Croatia is very low. In 2019 it was only 3.5%, whereas on the EU level it is 10.8%. Why is this important? Of course, lifelong learning is something that we all have to be included. There is no job for life, and the market is also constantly evolving, and we need to acquire new skills. So the skills that are prevalent in demand on today's labor market are digital and green skills, of course. So that's why this voucher system is supposed to allow people to gain those skills and, of course, foster then digital and job transition of a Croatian labor market. As you can see, this project is it has a great funding. So. It's a 40 million euros worth of project, and it will last till 2026. So you can get included in this kind of project. You can get one voucher until 2026. So what can you get if you want to get involved in this project? You can basically apply for a voucher, and it will give you the opportunity to acquire the micro or partial skills that are digital or green. We basically have a website that is dedicated to the list of all those skills. That is mainly used by our educational providers that enroll our list of providers. And what is important to emphasize here is once you finish this program, you were granted credentials or the public certificate that you are that you can perform these skills on the labor market. So also I would like to say that this is very flexible and user-oriented type of granting vouchers. So as you will see later, everything is digitalized. So the users don't even have to visit our offices or premises of the Croatian Employment Service. You can apply online, sign a contract with us, and then, of course, do all the documentation online, and then you start going directly to the service provider, education provider. So if you wish to get the voucher for digital green skills, what are the main criteria? Basically, you need to be unemployed, or you can be employed person over the age of 15. You need to, on your application, explain why this skill or program would benefit your career development, your current employment, or maybe job retention. What are some excluding criteria? The excluding criteria are that a voucher can be granted to the person that is currently in the regular education system, to the person that is in high education size system, that basically means that it excludes students, and beneficiary of pension under the general legislation governing pension insurance. Also, once you enroll a certain program, There is criteria how in what duration of the period of time you have to finish that program. So if you are unemployed person currently, you need to finish that program in course of 6 months, or if you are an employed person, that is in a course of 10 months. So what is the idea behind financing a voucher? Basically, once you decide which voucher would you like to apply for, you need to contact the provider, desired provider, and you need to request the offer for that voucher. So we have the calculated for every program the exact amount, and that could be for each program, and that can be found on our website. So in most cases, the voucher completely covers the cost of that program. But in some cases, if the voucher is lower than that cost, the user itself can pay for the rest of the cost, or the employer of that person. So let's get into the application itself. We have a website. This is a main web page for all the information on vouchers. It is voucheri.hz.hr. So here you can find all the currently available programs that are available for applying, and also we have that is through our embedded skills or program catalog. Also, I would like to point out that this catalog is constantly updated, so we have constantly new programs entering this catalog. No, can you go back, please? If you need maybe assistance regarding which program to choose, you're not sure, or you need to maybe find more information how to apply, you can, before submitting the actual application itself, you can always request career guidance information. That is also done through the platform that I will show you later. As I said, then you contact the chosen educational provider. That is also listed. You can find the contact information also on this page. And of course, once you have that offer for the program, you submit application to the on my voucher platform that I will show you now. Actually, first I will show you the skills catalog on the same page that I was mentioning. You can find all the educational programs and certified educational institutions that are available through this voucher system. Currently, we have 563 programs, which is a pretty big number. We have mostly, well, a larger percentage of them are for digital skills, and we have, for, of course, green skills. In total, we have 62 different types of programs at the moment, and we have 90 plus different providers. One of them is also Algebra. Mostly popular programs so far, as you can see, are related to digital skills. So we have internet marketing, branding, bookkeeping, Python developer, project manager assistant, front-end developer, UX designer, and so on. In this catalog, once you browse through all the programs, you can enter, you can filter through different, for example, on different locations, different sectors. You click on the desired program, and you can see, of course, everything is in Croatian. We don't have English version, so you would need to have a certain level of knowledge of Croatian. For example, web designer, you have here information, what kind of certificate do you get after completing this program. You have information about the education provider. In this case, this is Algebra. You can see locations where the program is going to be held. It can be also online, and the duration of the program. So here you have the maximum amount for the voucher for this particular program, and you have the criteria for enrolling this program. So this is mainly the stage of qualification that you already have. Okay.
So once you have decided which program you want to attend, you have requested the offer from the educational provider, you need to go to platform myvoucher.hazze.hr. This is mainly where all the things regarding getting a voucher happens. So you need to basically apply. We have can you just another slide? Yeah. To enter this platform, you need to have access. You need to have a digital credential that is given to citizens or other interested individuals to access the platform through e-citizen system. Okay. Once you have this, you enter the platform, and back. And as I mentioned before, if you need guidance, if you need information about what program would be suitable for you, or you need maybe to contact the career advisor so you can talk to him or he can guide you through the process, you can request that guidance right here before you submit the application. Or if you already have all the documentation, you know what you want, you just click Novi zahtjev or a new application, and then you submit all the documents that are needed. Once you have done that, we have a system that is targeting to be the most possible administration, with minimal administration. We strive to handle all the applications up to 10 days. But bear in mind that we are very currently having a great interest in vouchers, so especially on the Zagreb and Zagreb County area, so they can take up to maybe a certain more days to handle application. But of course, if you at any point of this stage of applying or during your once you start the education itself, you can always contact us. We are accessible through the customer service, which is we have online form. We have also you can contact us via phone, or you can directly use our email that is voucher@hazze.hr. And basically that is in brief all about vouchers. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer to you, of course. Thank you.
So dear Christine and dear Lana, this was really, let's say, full of details and really instructive. So I think it will be very, very valuable. And thank you for sharing this. It's in a way it's inspiring, because a few years ago we didn't have this, and let alone at the beginning of this year. So a real shift forward. Thank you. I just wanted, before we switch to Q&A session, thank you all for maintaining the time and keeping the agenda to the point, to all participants and presenters. I also would like to say hello to Maria Lukec-Prescher, who is here from the Ministry of Labor, and she joined us later, so we didn't have opportunity to show that also Ministry of Labor is showing support, so I think it's very important. I think the ladies from Svoja will now take the mic. We have the translator here, and now those who are here in person and those that are here online can maybe get a chance to answer some of their questions. So please go ahead.
So hello, I will be the representative of the questions on behalf of our online listeners.
Yeah. And I will give the mic to whoever thinks can answer the question asked.
So the first question, it's about incubators. Do they conduct education only in Croatian language, or there is an option in English?
Good question. So maybe Ivan, you can answer, and then we have lady from CISEX, from Simara.
So I asked my director the same question yesterday. He said we can arrange a complete English education, but it would need to be 5 or more interested English-speaking persons. So we have an option, but we need to make it...
for more people.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically educations are on both languages because we don't have working material in Croatian for gaming, so basically it's either way, Croatian or English.
So the next question is, advise a further course of action for a person who wants to change his profession. For example, the person who has completed QA manual engineer courses at Beetroot Academy has no practical work experience but has a great desire to work. Have English an A2 level. I am currently working on English, currently live in Zagreb and have temporary protection, so for Ukraine.
Maybe Leah and Sarah can answer this. Or try to answer. Sarah, okay.
Well, here in Algebra we can offer some additional education. We are not providing any practice or something like that. We just provide education. But if somebody wants to reskill or upskill, we have many courses that cover all fields in IT. So yeah, we can offer that, and through that they can even meet new people, meet possible employees, and then find some job. I'm not sure if it covered the question.
I don't have much to add. Usually when we are hiring like regularly throughout the year, we do focus on people with experience. The only way to maybe start is through internship. Because there we are mostly focused on education, projects, and those things, so we are not solely focused on experience as such.
Also, a few more questions. Okay.
Just give the mic to us.
Few more answers.
Yes, maybe I will use this opportunity to flag up that the reason why this event is co-organized with Svoja is that anybody who is listening either in this room or online and is indeed willing to have those answers as to how can you learn, how can you find jobs, please do get in touch with Svoja. As we have heard from Irina earlier today, they are looking at developing very specific tech-focused career paths, because it's much easier if you do it via the association. You can always go via traditional recruiters, but if you are in a situation when you are in a new country, new market, you don't know yet what is the best way to go forward to, my advice would be, in coordination with Svoja, use the opportunities that exist. Approaching individual companies is always great, but I think it's important as well to make sure that there is a much more systemic approach, and the work can be promoted via the associations, because we have heard earlier today there is Croatian Startup Association. We unfortunately didn't have Davor from CISEX, but the intention, at least on EBRD side, is to scale up collaboration between academia, business sector via the associations, and then associations such as Svoja that can bring larger number of people who maybe have exactly the same questions. Thank you.
If someone has something to add for one more question, is it really possible to start from scratch, like in different?
Yes, we can prove that it is, because and even with these vouchers that girls presented now in the end, there are many students here that started from scratch. They worked in something completely different. All you need to have is will to study. It's not from today to tomorrow, but yeah, you should work hard, but you can start from scratch and really expect a good career in IT.
I think Andrea and Ivan can also add that there is possible to start from scratch for people who joined you as unemployed people were not of IT profession.
I don't think anybody who went through our 6 months education, maybe 1% of them were IT guys or women. We have artists, we have economists, we have lawyers, we have people with just gymnasiums. So, you know, it's possible if you have if you are persistent, and of course if you have an interest in gaming in our case. So I said earlier, they don't go to Novska for 6 months to play video games. It's a hard work, but you know, if you are persistent, you can make it, because after 6 months of education, we are expecting from every participant to have their own video game, serious video game.
Thank you. Even maybe you can add something.
In the case of AI Center Lipik, there is mostly like 3 or 4 people per generation who have any experience in programming. Other than that, they are all unemployed, of course, but some of them are, you know, from different universities, some of them are from high schools, and a lot of them have gotten jobs. I mean, we have some statistics, but I don't have it here, so I don't want to say anything wrong. And I'm an example of that. I have gotten a job, I mean, in AI Center Lipik, but I also work in programming AI, and I haven't heard anything about it 6 months before my education. So it is possible. I can be a witness to that.
Thank you. And one more question. What IT professions are in demand, on your opinion?
So with us, it's mostly software, because we are focused on software. We don't have hardware. There are other companies in Croatia that do have hardware, like Ericsson or companies like that. So if I speak only from a software perspective, it's development in various languages. Java is the most spread, and then we have .NET, Python, stuff like that. We also have other positions that are more focused on networking. So core network, system engineer. You also have like IT tech, DevOps, and other positions, but everything is mostly connected to software as such and what it takes to make it and maintain it.
I would also add business and data analyst, because all non-IT people can really contribute with their knowledge of business and reskill or just upskill to learn some IT stuff to be better at. We have really lots of data now, and sometimes we don't know what to do with it. And that's why we need good analysts to work with that data and to give the valuable insights from that. And if you remember the part of learn, unlearn, and relearn, that's starting from scratch. And you can have the knowledge of the business or economics, and then you bring that connected with IT, and then you have really, really valuable skills.
And just now added one more question. What platforms, sites, websites, resources to use to look for a job in IT field? Which platforms or websites?
Well, I think during the when Anna from Photomath was telling you to first you have to work on your CV, on your LinkedIn profile, she said there are already groups on LinkedIn like IT jobs in Croatia and similar. I think Croatian Employment Agency has data on all employers seeking their employees. Companies like Infobip and Photomath have their job openings all the time. So I think basically start with something and then you just move forward.
I can safely say that every job ad that is published on our webpage is also automatically published on LinkedIn. And that is valid for, I would say, a lot of companies in Croatia. So your safest bet would be LinkedIn. Just research what IT companies are located here, follow them on LinkedIn, and just look at the jobs regularly.
Thank you for all online listeners.
So do we have somebody here who wants to ask questions, give comments, or you are too shy? Okay. You can do it online and nobody will know. So I think we are completely in time, even before. Oh, we have one question.
Yes, I want to ask, it's maybe about HR. I want to ask if it's really like in trend now to put your CV like in LinkedIn, or this CV PDF, which one you can send through this website of the company, it's also still working, or it's really better to focus and to know this LinkedIn, how it's working?
If you are actively looking for a job, you should probably focus on both. So you will need a CV if you want to apply to a job. You will probably need to attach it, most likely. But what would also help if you don't have a CV is LinkedIn page, which needs to contain like the most relevant data, not every single thing that you ever did, but just like focused on the things that you find the most relevant, and that will like speak to employer.
And one more question. Sorry. And also I work I like a project manager in IT, and I really like it. But as I heard today, it's not that much focus on this professional. And I want to ask if it's still like popular, if how do you think if it will grow up, if it's in trend still, or it's better to combine and upskill yourself? I don't know.
I would say definitely yes, because all of the today we focus mainly on IT and tech skills, but all of the companies have many projects and they need somebody who can lead the project in a good way, because you know that you cannot have the project and just do stuff as come and go, but you really need to have it well planned, well organized. And so I think that yes, and even many companies that we work with, they ask us for the project managers and for gaining certificate in project management field. So I think there's a lot of things to do with that.
I did mostly focus on engineering, but we do have other departments. From time to time, we are looking for project managers, but other companies also have, and we do. So product manager, this is something different than a project manager. Maybe some other companies that are following Scrum have Scrum Masters. You have Agile coaches. This is something that is very widespread now, and it will probably stick. So if you are looking from upskilling from a project manager, I would suggest something in the lines of like Scrum Master, or it's a much easier thing to do than just become like a developer. Not everybody needs to be a developer. I'm not, and I'm happy.
Me too. Not being a developer, being happy about it. So I think we came to the conclusion. Oh, the mic is on. Now it's on. Thank you. So we came to the end of today's session. I really like to thank everybody who is listed on the screen, on the wall, but also to all of you being present in person and the one who are listening. Volunteers of Svoja. Mikita did the clicking part. Thank you, Mikita. And ladies volunteers from Svoja Association, I think everything went really well, and we really hope that it will be just the opening of series of event, and that we manage, as they say here in Algebra, ignite your spark, that we manage to give you some spark to go further and to explore your possibilities and think about your career in IT, or get your answers you were seeking before you came here, or get it in a process. So thank you very much, and have a lovely Friday and also great weekend. Thank you.